Alright, so I actually wrote a lot of notes on this one. Gonna try to get through this as fast as possible while still giving all my thoughts on everything. But I actually really enjoyed this episode. Like I've said before, I'm enjoying this season, and this episode continues to spark my interest in the challenge. So, Kyle has moved away from Fessy and toward the outsiders like CT and Wes, and that's no surprise considering Fessy threw Kyle in against, a rookie. And Kyle obviously wasn't happy about it, and the way Fessy handled this after the fact just was so poorly done. You would expect better from somebody from Big Brother, especially when he said he was playing a strategic game, but I don't see it. Love the CT, Big T partnership, this alliance, and she calls him Fuzzy Bunny. Thought that was pretty funny. They have big personalities, so I'm sure we're going to see some more of the issues and the negatives of this relationship, but as of right now, it's fine. It seems like she was able to calm him down. We saw a little spark of the younger CT, the CT from older seasons, but not really. He's just older, more mature now. I think that's obvious, but he's had his fair share of fights. Fessy dropped the bomb that it's not a secret vote and that they got to see who voted, and that's why they put Kyle in to the elimination, and I just don't agree with this at all. I guess he felt like he had to explain himself, but why reveal this? Didn't you want to continue winning and people continue handing things over to you, and now that you tell them there is this advantage, they're going to want it too, and it just shows your cards. I would not have done this. And it just further proved that it was a bad move when Corey got really pissed off about it because it showed his card. So Fessy revealing this showed that Corey did not have Wes's back. Wes found out that Corey and Nelson don't have his back, and he seemed pretty hurt about it. I think this episode we see another side of Wes. Wes has been the underdog and has been targeted many times. We have seen him in the bottom of the totem pole several seasons, especially when I was watching back older seasons, and this time he just seemed especially hurt, and it was kind of sad and difficult to watch. I like seeing this side of Wes because it's more of his humanity. It's not just this sneaky, conniving person who doesn't let things get to him, that is just very smart and cunning. This is more of a human side to him, and I immediately jumped to Twitter and Instagram to see what other people were saying as well as what he was saying about this episode. I would love to see Wes on a season and not go home so early, so I was excited to see him play this season, especially considering last season did not go as planned, did not go how he wanted. But just seeing the people that are in this house and how things are going, I don't think it looks good for him and really the veterans in general. There's people that have won before and they want to win, and these older players that have won are at a disadvantage. Cam put her partner Kyle in check. We know Kyle chose to steal Cam, and it was a bit annoying. I like Cam. I think she's a strong competitor, and in previous seasons I have really liked seeing her dominate and seeing her prove people wrong. I just her controlling Kyle and trying to keep him in check was just a little annoying and a bit much. But I guess he kind of needs it because he is a little bit all over the place, and him being all sneaky and stuff didn't work to his advantage because he got thrown in because it wasn't a secret vote. When they said there was no harness for this challenge, I got a little freaked out. I was like, okay, what does this mean? And then I saw the actual challenge, and still frightening, but better than what I was thinking in my head. I'm not sure. I conjured up some crazy wild thing in my head, and at least it was better than that. It was Nicole versus Cam and Devin versus Kyle, and I'd be really terrified to go against Cam, to be completely honest. Nicole's a baddie too. She's a firefighter. She's strong, but I'd be worried going against Killer Cam. They timed out, and unfortunately for Nicole, she got pretty injured. Her shoulder popped out. I think she dislocated it, and that's never a good sign. And again, a medic was needed. These challenges are definitely not for people that are frightened of getting hurt, and you have to know that it's definitely possible that you could get severely injured. So Nani and Josh versus Wes and Natalie. This is a funny matchup. I was like, I hope Wes and Natalie pull this off. I was fully thinking that they would. if I were Nani. I know, I've seen Nani compete, especially in her earlier seasons, and she does have a lot of fight, a lot of drive in her, but I would not want to go against Natalie. She's frightening, you could tell that she definitely would not be easy to go against. And she was just like swinging around Nani. Nani lasted longer than I thought, but her throwing Nani around was pretty frightening and funny at the same time. Wes and Josh both fell off. They were fighting over who was the last one to touch, and Josh, of course, was concerned about getting Wes off, but not so concerned with his feet being the last one on the platform, and that's where he messes up. Wes, of course, thought of this and was the last one on, so he won this one. Darrell and Amber versus Gabby and Leo. I did not know Amber did rugby, so good for her. She is proving to be way more than what she seems. Nam and Lolo dominated their round, no surprise. They did really well. It looks like they're really working well together. I was hoping that this could be some romance that has sparked up, that maybe they have a romance outside of the house, but Lolo's Twitter is ruining that fantasy for me because it just seems like that's not gonna happen. It seemed like it didn't happen, and yeah. Mickey was surprising in this. Liv hurt her shoulder, which sucks. We already saw Nicole hurt her shoulder. I'm like, what is wrong with this? Like, this has to be pretty dangerous. Corey said that she didn't feel bad about hurting her. She was like, oh yes, I feel bad, and then she's like, let's face it, I'd honestly feel bad. Like, obviously you want to win. In the moment you don't care because you just want to win, but after the fact I'd feel pretty bad if I hurt someone. And then after Liv is like, yeah, I thought she'd be stronger. I'm like, girl, you got hurt. But okay, this is a type of comp that was made for Casey. She played football, so she's good at that contact sport, so definitely would not want to go against her. She obviously did really well. I really wanted CT and Big T to beat out Fessy and Anissa, but Big T has never been in a fight before, but she was so excited about it. It was actually really cute, and she was like excited to go against Anissa, who is known for, her elimination rounds and those contact type of competitions. Fessy and CT timed out. I was glad Fessy wasn't able to throw CT off. When Big T was saying she's never been in a fight before, CT's like, yeah, me either. And obviously we know that's a lie. He used to be such a hothead. Leroy and Casey won this challenge. Glad it wasn't Fessy and Anissa again. It was a bit of a flop last week. And the top two other teams were Wes and Natalie. I would have been happy if they were able to pull this one through. And Lolo and Nam, which they're a bit of a wild card pair, so it would have been interesting to see what they did. Nicole's badly injured, like I said, with her shoulder, and she was medically disqualified. We were unsure what was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen with Devin. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a girls' elimination since they lost one. And yeah, so it was a little bit like, what's going on? But they really did make it seem like it was going to be a guys' elimination, so it was really no surprise when that was announced. Liv got to come back, so obviously it wasn't as bad, and she's okay to continue competing. She's actually really funny. I love Big T bonding with the rookies. I just don't think she has the relationship with the veteran ladies, and she's just really getting along with the rookies. Like I said, I do actually like the rookies that they added in this season. Sometimes the rookies they add in just don't add much, but this season I actually really like them. Obviously, there's this divide between the rookies and the veterans, especially between the veterans that have won before and then the veterans who are really wanting that win and just want to get these people out. So yeah, that's really no surprise. But I mean, there's been other times where they let people slide on through who have won before, like Bananas, who makes it to so many finals. There was a lot of fighting this episode, which makes it really interesting. It's just like really ridiculous fighting. Casey and CT surprisingly had a little tiff. I wasn't really sure what was going on. I had to do the eggs or food, whatever, in the kitchen. Of course, Josh has to come in and be like, what's going on? And he wants to defend his girl, which I understand. I don't think Josh is a bad person, but he is definitely a hothead. And he has, a very fiery part of him that comes out, and he definitely likes to argue. He's just an emotional person, and he lets his emotions get the best of him in this game, and that means people really know how to manipulate you when you allow that, and that's something you have to be very careful with, and that's something that you should be able to pick up on and learn when you play Big Brother. But I guess it worked to his advantage because he won, so he didn't really have to learn that lesson. But there are those that do learn that from going on Big Brother. Then there's a fight when Josh told CT that Casey was crying, and then CT went to Casey, and Casey's like, I wasn't crying. And yeah, this edit just really showed that Josh, I guess, didn't really realize what he was saying, or tried to lie or manipulate. I don't know, but he definitely did say that Casey was crying, and she said she wasn't crying, so that just created this big fight. It was way bigger than it had to be, but this is the challenge, and it wouldn't be the challenge without these ridiculous fights. Devin then came in and made it worse by saying Big Brother sucks, and it's just like a stupid, like, immature thing, but of course it just rubbed Josh the wrong way, and he was ready to go at it. He knew it was going to trigger Josh, and it definitely worked because Josh was not happy, and everybody gets a kick out of seeing Josh like this, except Casey, who truly is on his side and really tried to calm him down, and she doesn't want his emotions to get the best of him. Wes was really pushing for Corey and Tori to go in, and I was hoping that that would work too, but it just doesn't really seem like Wes has the numbers this season. I don't know why it's so funny to see them vote, just this anonymous voting. It's just like really funny because you kind of see it, like who they're voting for, and it's just kind of obvious, and I don't know, maybe it's just me and I just find everything funny. Votes come in, and shocker, Devin and Nicole, who's like no longer there, she packed up her stuff and had to leave, so it's just technically Devin. And yeah, they were compromised, or should I just say he was just compromised. And what I was most surprised about was that CT voted this way, that CT hopped on this bandwagon. I think he knows that he's an outsider, so he wants to go with the numbers. But yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm not disappointed. Obviously, I'm very disappointed. I like Devin, and I didn't want him to be voted in. But that's just the way it is. Wes and Devin actually have very similar personalities to me, so it's no surprise that they get along and they're friends. Wes tried to weasel his way into Leroy's heart, and I mean, they've known each other for a long time. They've done a bunch of seasons, challenges together, but I don't know. I was hoping that, there'd be a veteran bond and Wes would be able to convince him. Obviously, Wes thought that he would be okay, that Leroy would side with him, that Leroy wouldn't vote him in. But we know how that goes. They tried to tease Leroy choosing to go against Devin in the elimination, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. It's just, I don't know what it is with these people. They get into this position for the Red Skull, and they just, when their time comes to decide if they want to get the Red Skull, finally they kind of chicken out, and it's a very scared and safe game, and it's just not that enjoyable to watch. I'm ready for someone to just, do it and decide that they want to get the Red Skull. There's only a limited amount of Red Skulls, so might as well get it when you have the chance. Last season, people were fighting over going in and doing eliminations, and this season, people are just scared. So Leroy and Casey decide to throw Wes in, and he looked utterly stunned and hurt. I honestly have never seen him like that, and it was very unfortunate to watch and disheartening to watch. You could tell he wasn't fully in it, and he wasn't prepared at all, and I don't think you obviously don't do as well when you're not mentally prepared for it, especially if you're going against somebody that you really value, and Wes really values Devin, and he knows that Devin really needs the money, and he wants this for Devin, so you could see that conflict in it, and seeing Wes compete in this just wasn't the Wes that I know and that everybody knows. It just wasn't his day. I didn't see that fight and that passion in him that I usually see. He looked like he was struggling, and he knew what he had to do, and he was doing it. He was digging the hole and putting himself in the position to stand his ground, but it just kind of seemed like he let go. And Devin was doing really well, and yeah, he won this one, and he got to stay in the house, and yeah, I'm happy for him. Obviously, he's had his struggles, and he's been back on the challenge after some time, but I still would have liked to see Wes last longer. I know that's probably an unpopular opinion. I know there's people out there that don't like him and are happy he's out of the game, but I do actually really enjoy watching him on the challenge. And Devin could have chosen to take Natalie, Wes's partner, now that he was eliminated, but he chose to take Tori, which was a bit surprising to me, but also kind of not. Tori was very unhappy about it. You could clearly see that she did not want to get picked, but she's a strong competitor, and I guess this is also a way for him to make alliances and form more of a bond with the people that he's not that close with. Because if Tori has these connections with other people and they don't want to get rid of her, they can't get rid of him, you know, unless they do, which they still can. You could double cross someone. But yes, I guess we'll see how this goes. It still sucks. I mean, I saw all the spoilers beforehand, so I know kind of what's happening. I don't truly remember the order, but I knew Wes was going to go home early, and I knew it was around this time. But it's still but it was still a very entertaining episode. So don't forget to subscribe for more challenge content. I will be doing a recap and reaction next week. And don't forget to like and comment your thoughts on this episode and this season. Let me know what you think and what you thought about this elimination. Yeah.